We'll pray for a peaceful solution, but if we have to get a little angry, we've already cut off heads in 1792, 1793.
Hello everyone, I'm here on a farm very close to Besançon. We'll look at a French farmer's situation. It's truly shocking. Let's go. These little cows are beautiful. Ah, look, so cute, the little calves. Hello Thomas, nice to meet you. Sorry to bother you in the middle of your work. No worries, we know your time is valuable. Thank you for giving us your time.
Yes, we'll just take 5 minutes.
So how is it going?
So, about what? Work?
Work, life?
When things aren't going well, you just keep going. That's just how work is. But then, you see, given what's happening here, it's just totally absurd. There's no other word for it when you see the minister saying, "Save it, the French livestock. We have to slaughter the herds." It's like saying politics is going badly, so we have to get rid of all the politicians. It's nonsense. Nothing makes sense. We're completely upside down.
Because the impact is...
There you go. They tell us, oh, well, we support the farmers, we understand. But who can really understand except a farmer? Who can understand having your livestock slaughtered? No one else, no one else. I think there are people who are supported, but honestly, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes.
That's not true for you or your animals.
For now, we haven't been affected, knock on wood, we haven't been affected yet. We're in the areas where we vaccinated, so... Not to mention the brand of energy drinks, but the mosquitoes or the flies, they're becoming more active. What do they get doped on to make jumps of 50 kilometers? They haven't identified all the vectors, it's impossible.
There's anger among the farmers?
It's not just simple anger. Here I think it's a general fed-up feeling. When you see on the last herd that was culled, the 200 cows, well, it looks like helicopters, they're coming. We wonder if we need to, as during the revolution, grab pitchforks, shovels, pickaxes, and march to Paris. We have work to do on another farm, so let us do our jobs our way. Besides, they don't know anything about the disease. Well, so to speak, they don't know anything. If what they were doing was effective, the cases in Savoy would have been over a long time ago. It would have been finished already. How did it get here?
Could we answer you precisely because they can't control it, because it would require taking radical measures that are poorly received by the farmers and so on? You see, you could answer yourself that, on the contrary, we should slaughter more?
Yes, no. Then, if we follow European law, if your herd is likely to have the disease, you have to wipe everything out. What does that mean? That tomorrow it's possible it could spread to all of France, so tomorrow we slaughter all the French cattle? That's completely crazy. They're making the connection with avian flu. Avian flu has been talked about for more than 10 years and they systematically call for it. Does that solve the problems though? No, we need to find solutions, alternative solutions to solve the problems. That's not working anymore, and we need to build solutions with the farmers, not just with certain unions. He says, look, these are directives coming down from the offices, that's not working anymore, that's not working anymore.
You find there is a lack of consultation?
A lack of consultation and little dialogue. In fact, today, no matter what we say, they've already decided in the office and they're sticking to it. They say we're the ones who go all the way, but what about them? What are they doing? I say that we're just reflecting them, that's all. No matter how much we talk, we're not being heard, whether it's farmers or anything else in society.
The unions are precisely there theoretically to act as an interface between the directives and the farmers.
Yes, the unions today, the majority union, they send letters to vote at their place. They don't even represent 10% of the farmers. There's a problem. And then on the other hand, they're the ones under pressure and they're the ones the government listens to. Today they're starting to change their approach because there's grumbling in their ranks too. There are people in the Doubs region who experienced things that we didn't. The mass slaughters, I'm 40 years old, I was young, we had the mad cow case, so those were really mass slaughters. At first we managed to stop the farmers, they're not irresponsible. Tomorrow I have a case of tuberculosis. He doesn't need a ladder, a helicopter, they just put a patrol of police officers there to control the flow. Tuberculosis is over and transmissible to humans, we don't question it. They say it's dangerous even for us, so we call the herd, that's it.
So the farmers are responsible? They know what they're doing?
but you have to stop treating us like idiots who've never been to school. Even our elders knew more than those in offices. Today there's a moment. On the field, we're with the animals every day. If we were careless before, now there's something that maybe I'll be criticized for this, is becoming careless again. Because out of fear of having the herd slaughtered, we don't report it anymore. I have something. My cow isn't well. If there's a risk, I'll handle it myself. I take her deep into the woods. If she survives, fine, but if she dies, that's unfortunate. I won't risk losing my herd and facing the consequences.
Are you saying this lack of consultation is counterproductive because it can create grassroots resistance?
Exactly, at the grassroots level, and then they should set up test zones there. That's why the cows redevelop the disease later on, meaning because they caught it when they weren't vaccinated. But let's say the timing is on our side. We're in the winter season now. Today, everything needs to be vaccinated. That's 200 kilometers around the outbreaks. All the herds need to be vaccinated right away. Almost all of France, if it's available. In spring, when the flies return and cows go outside, what will we do? We won't be able to control things then. Anyway, it's a race against time that's lost from the start with their reasoning. That's clear and obvious. So there comes a time, when you have to take the necessary measures. But total slaughter today, you see, we go from 5 or 10% of natural deaths to 100. And then for what purpose? For the right to export? We import more than a quarter of the beef in France, but we have to stop walking on the head. He's talking to us about food sovereignty, but where is the food sovereignty? If we kill the French herd, we'll need more, so we might as well be conspiracy theorists. He claims corporations are behind this to build mega factories like in the United States, but France opposes it. So we're going to import everything from elsewhere, he says, but there you go.
Import from countries where these strict controls aren't enforced, not like in France?
The strict controls. We're talking about Mercosur, but I think we could also talk about Ukraine, about the quality that we don't have here. And after that, at what ecological cost? Also, they'll tell us that what's coming from Australia, for example, I'll take lamb from Australia, it has a less negative impact than the one from France. He says there comes a time if we're not able to produce what we eat, what do we do tomorrow if Putin or someone else wages war on us? Or if the supply chains are blocked? We saw it clearly during COVID, they were blocked, we couldn't do anything anymore, we were stuck in France, we couldn't work anymore. There were no parts, medicine or masks, nothing left. He says at some point we have unemployed people, we need to bring jobs back, we need to get people working again also. That we stop handing out money to everyone and that we can live a little better by being taxed a little less. It's a whole set, there's this phenomenon in agriculture, but it's a whole set of things alongside it.
What is life like for a French farmer? For example, let's be direct. How much do you earn and pay each month?
For now, we managed to take out 1,800 euros each. With my father, that's how it is. There are regulations, so we can't go lower. Since we're in a groupement agricole d'exploitation en commun, that means you're part of an agricultural cooperative for joint farming. So there you go, we're lucky to be able to pay ourselves salaries. But last year I looked at it, I didn't do the math. In terms of hours with my father, each of us is working 2.5 full-time jobs on the farm per year.
Each of you?
Each of us.
You are working 2 full-time jobs.
2.5 full-time jobs. So if we break down the 1,800 euros...
By the hours worked?
By the hours worked, what does that represent? Minimum wage? No, but there you go.
But okay.
It's a lifestyle choice.
You get out of it because you're in the county too.
That's it. We're in the county. We have a price that pays. But on the other hand, all the expenses, like equipment, you see, we have a broken pipe. We don't go to the mechanic anymore because it costs $1,000 every visit for nothing. So that's how it is, but that's us. Basically a work day, we start at 6 in the morning, we stop at 9:30 to have a coffee, half an hour, 45 minutes, then we return by noon or 12:30 at the latest. And then in the afternoon from 2 to 7:30 or 8 in the evening, a short winter on-call day. And then when it's the season, if we eat on the tractor at noon, we don't stop, or during the silage period in the fall. It's been a few years now. With the weather windows getting shorter, we pull all-nighters. Sometimes it's really on the edge. But hiring someone today, you have to be able to pay them. Then in terms of working hours, you can't have them work too much. And then there are the new generations. So when it comes to a tractor that's more than just recent, you can't ask for too much. Yes.
Do you really see that, honestly?
He would even want to be paid more than us, because today, someone who don't get up for less than $2,000 a month, maybe more. Also, don't push yourself too hard. Me, today, I'm with the replacement service, and there's almost no one who wants to come work with us anymore because I'm too demanding. If I call out someone's work, it's likely because it needs to be addressed. It's a demanding job that requires a lot of knowledge. And then, I don't know if it's the COVID generations or something else, but yeah, or maybe it's because of the phones. But they expect everything to fall from the sky without doing anything.
You have trouble finding farm workers who work well?
Who work well? Yes. Who work well, who are motivated, there are a few, but it's rare, it's rare.
It's rare. Can we visit your farm for a bit, if you don't mind?
Yes, quickly.
Yes, absolutely. So you have cows, right? Yes, that's it. You produce milk for the Comté cheese. I love this cheese. Actually, I just love cheese in general.
So that's the building we renovated that we started to put into service this spring. So we did barn drying to improve the quality of the hay. So we bring the hay down for a week, then use the hay claw to feed the cows.
From the outside, it looks like farmers are extremely supported by the Common Agricultural Policy, that you're living on a drip of European money. So
We are ultra, it's each one.
what's the reality?
Well, actually, when we submit a grant application, it's for the whole building, the masonry building. I'm looking at a little over 500,000 euros. When we submit an application, I'm partnered with my father, so there are now two partners and the scale has changed. But at the time, we were right at the limit. Well, that's how it was. The subsidizable part was limited to 150,000 euros.
Out of 500,000.
That's right. So out of those 150,000, if the application was accepted, there would be 45 or 50, I don't remember. So yeah, that still helps.
50, that's good.
Yes, but that's not for the whole project. That's important to remember too. Okay, we have some support, but that's not all.
It only covers about a third.
That's it. We had different projects, and for all of them combined, we received a little over 100,000 euros.
Okay.
After all, that's kind of the point. I think the goal of any industry isn't to live off subsidies you might get. It's to live off your own work.
So do you mean the system is flawed, in your opinion?
That's it. We wanted to globalize the sale of cereals to get into the markets, but there you go. Go talk to cereal farmers. I'm telling you guys, it's been 2 years. They're selling at a loss. They're not making any money. So guys, why, in quotes, try to get by? You take a side job, and as a grain farmer, which is seasonal and affordable, but what's the point? We have many farms and livestock operations, milk-sustained people. But I can take the neighbor next door from my grandfather's time. They had the same setup as we have today. Same cows, there was a couple and an employee who lived there.
About 30 cows, that's right?
No, they had about 60 cows.
60, all right.
So today, the grandson has taken over. He's all alone, and he does some construction work on the side to get by. That means the same business is no longer able to generate the equivalent of the 3 salaries it used to.
So there's been a change in that regard?
Oh well, but it's the same in every shop. We keep piling up constraints and paperwork. It's the same everywhere. The other day, the 5 cows we sent off, the guy showed up with the truck and asked, "Do you have the paperwork, the transport slip?" It's the stamp from the DDT to confirm that the animals have been vaccinated for more than 21 days. Why does he say, "I don't load the animals without paperwork"? There you go. So you need paperwork for that. There's the animal's passport. We're organic, so for lifetime traceability, we need even more paperwork. It's just piling up. Anyway, you could say the job of the future in agriculture is almost being a secretary. It's sad to say, but yeah, that's how it is. Even now, my mother, who's retired, still helps us a lot with that. But still, you need at least 2 hours a day just to do paperwork. It's true. Yeah, paperwork. Following up, keeping track, it's at least 2 hours a day.
You have to see if the farmers in Mercosur have the same constraints as you do.
Then these are countries that don't have the same characteristics or geography as France, where I think they have much larger areas. I don't know all the countries, but when you have blocks of 1,000 or 2,000 hectares, you just let the animals loose on them. You can really work extensively and also with reduced costs due to scale. They don't bother like we do, guys. They just let their animals out and check on them from time to time. Well, there are 2 or 3 wolves around to clean up the carcasses and all that. And then in the fall, they take back what they need to sell.
Actually, the others are more competitive with their big land.
Oh, well, it's not comparable. It's just not comparable then.
Actually, competing with them is pretty much a dead end for you, isn't it?
Yes, but then why compete in the first place? Sometimes you need to return to basics. Why do we produce at all? Why do we produce? So we and the French people can eat, of course.
It's about food sovereignty.
So that's it. That's the foundation. If there's a surplus, it can be sold at market price if necessary. First, let's prioritize French products and ensure we can feed France.
That's the absolute priority, of course.
The other day there was a report. It was about lentils. The Canadian lobbyists were even bragging about it. They managed to get the pesticide residue limits in lentils increased so they could sell them in Europe. So they have the right to use pesticides and defoliants that are made in France, in Europe, which we are not allowed to use in Europe, so the products end up over there. Then, once they've sprayed the cereals that they can harvest, they send the stuff back to us for a result that's 2 cents less per kilo. There comes a time when we're still completely walking on the head.
It's unfair, actually.
It's unfair, we're just walking on the head.
It's crazy.
It's totally crazy. We accept, in quotes, to eat a bit more pesticides in the name of the global market. There comes a time, but there you go.
When you can't use those pesticides.
In organic farming and even in conventional farming, we're not allowed.
So actually, it's unfair.
And it creates a double imbalance in terms of production, productivity. But that's it. But everything is like that.
But anyway, I mean, the system is made in an absurd way. At what point do people who feed the French struggle like you struggle? That's what blows my mind. It's the same for doctors, firefighters, and others. The most useful people to society, and who are the most useful than the ones who make food. And you're in trouble. It's hard, really. I just don't get it.
It's an observation. Today we rely a lot on people who work without counting the cost. You can see that among firefighters, a lot of gendarmes, police officers who do this out of vocation and who are willing to give a lot. Beyond the regulated 35 hours, 35 hours is a complete absurdity. That's it, it's another topic, that's another subject, but actually today we rely too much on those people. Today there are many who end up burned out, who are suffering from professional exhaustion, while there are others who are at home, relaxing in front of the television, and who end up with nearly the same amount monthly.
Oh, yes.
People who are on Revenu de Solidarité Active who can get unemployment benefits. Well, it's true that they worked, but unemployment is insurance. I have insurance for my building tomorrow. That doesn't mean I'll set it on fire. People today think they're entitled to unemployment, right? And that's it. There's not enough difference anymore between those who work and those who do nothing. And then when you see the administrative complexity just to get anything done, anyone who isn't really committed to what they want to do just gives up. There are tough times for us too, though taking turns helps since there are several of us.
Yes, of course.
We're completely exhausted, We saw what the communist system did in Russia. We don't have a communist system today. We have a social system, but there are too many people who abuse the social system, and that's going to make it collapse. It was last year when they started again this year, when they wanted to bring down the government over the budget and all that. but there comes a time, we're not far from Greece when it collapsed, but there comes a time you really have to hit rock bottom, even dig deeper, so that there's no more money to pay and people put others back to work. At some point, if people can't understand on their own, you have to get back to work. The day you stop receiving money. So either you become a thief and go take from your neighbor, or if you want to earn something, you have to get off your butt and work.
The problem is that the state can go into debt infinitely, so it's future generations who pay for welfare.
No, but there comes a time when future generations who tomorrow will want to get up. Knowing that he already has 30,000 bucks debt on their backs, no, but there comes a time, I think that's about 30,000 euros per person in France today, the debt, if tomorrow it's double that. Wait for me, I'm leaving for another country, I get paid, they don't stick me with the debt, and that's it. But at some point, you have to be reasonable, So now we're blaming the retirees because they have a certain lifestyle, the retirees. When they started their careers, how many hours a week did those guys work? My uncle, a mason, said they used to work 60-hour weeks. No, but we need to put things into perspective.
So your father, how many pensions is he going to get?
If he gets 1,100 euros, that's the most he can expect.
Those are even small pensions, it's not much.
They always said the farmer lives poor to die rich. Once he finishes his career, he has paid for everything. And then if he manages to sell it, that's basically what will fund his retirement. But if we manage to sell it...
What's the point of being rich when you're about to die?
So a beautiful coffin.
No one has ever seen?
Nope.
But you see, we've never seen a coffin follow a hearse. Yes, so no, it's true, it's a shame. Let's move on, give up. Let's admire this herd that hasn't been decimated yet.
Well, I hope it won't be decimated.
It's a disaster. How much does the state give you if he kills your cows?
I don't know. It changes all the time anyway. At first, to make it somewhat acceptable, there are big amounts, and then after that... Anyway, today the coffers are already empty, so they make promises. I don't know exactly what people are going to get.
And then, besides for you, these are very specific cows, the Comté ones, right? You've been working for a while so that they...
Yes, well, they're Montbéliard breed, and then let's say each farm is specific, that's it.
Basically, if your cows are killed, you'll have to buy new ones. So what will you buy? The same breed? Will you be able to find the same breed at the same price?
In Comté, we have to have either Simmental or Montbéliard cows. So that's it, we're limited in that regard, and that's it, Comté. We can't buy cows that come from industrial systems. We're organic, the cows have to be organic, otherwise it means we lose the whole conversion period. Yes, so there you go. Is that it? Is that taken into account in their calculations? I have no idea, but it's a mess, really. And then we have the example, there are the... I feel like it's epigenetic. The way we raise cows matches the local area where we live, but not even the region. It's almost down to the district. Oh yes, we have people who used to use industrial silage systems, and then they switched back to traditional methods, so now they make more beer cheese. So today it's the same, they're no longer allowed to use silage. They want to keep these cows, but they're told, no, you have to get rid of 15 or 20 of your cows because they're not able to convert feed into milk. There you go. It's easier to tip the balance the other way. But there are cows that will never produce what they would in a silage system because they're not able to make use of the grass.
So actually, these are still very sensitive systems, and you can't just suddenly replace the cows like that. It's not simple or malleable.
Is it not that simple? When there was the crazy cow period, they had to rebuild herds. The best one? The plan is to get a herd from someone ending milk production and bring it home.
And to do what he was doing?
To do what he was doing. Even if you have to readjust the herd, there's the hierarchy. There's much less trouble when you take cows from here and there.
Yes, okay, you have to take the whole herd, maybe convert it, but not take things from here and there, and not mix things up.
Ideally, that's the best. When you have to bring in cows, you know you'll have 20-30 losses from that.
Okay, so actually when your herd is killed, it's dramatic.
Well, that's one reason not to talk to him about it.
It's enough to hang up your boots and say, okay, I'm changing careers.
When they slaughter a herd, they might as well hand the rope to the farmer, right? Oh yeah, no, but for my father, you'd have to hold the rope back from him. Well, there you go. Just don't talk to him about it, but that's how it is.
It's a tragedy.
Well, there you go. You spent your career in this, and that's what gets you up in the morning, right? Yes, it's a tragedy, and as I said before, if you're not a breeder, you won't understand. You won't understand what it is. There's political messaging and support, except from the breeders. For me, it's just hot air. It's just hot air.
This job, it has changed.
Me, I was happy to be a farmer. We have a very good job. But today, I'm disgusted with our leaders.
That's true. Why? What did they do?
Well, they manage France well. Oh yes, all the way.
That is to say, concretely, the job of a farmer when you were young. Did you like it? Why?
Well, it was a job where we were very free. Yeah, we've lost all our freedom, yeah. So there are always standards that we always have to follow. If we don't follow the standards, we get threats, just threats. All we get today are threats. So
They will say it's for the good of the consumers, it's for their well-being.
well, they respond very poorly. No, it's for the well-being of the people. No, because they don't know the job. And that's the problem. They need to come down to earth. Those people, they work in offices. Well, they need to be taken out of the offices. They need to come down to earth. Those people. For many things, not just for the farming profession. There are even many other things. Yeah.
You mean that's what your son was telling me? There's a complete disconnect between those who make the decisions and you.
They're completely disconnected.
Do you really feel that on a daily basis?
Yes, and me, yes, I know that I'm fed up with it today. It wouldn't have taken much for me to lose it. They better stay off my farm. With what's happened elsewhere, I'd be ready to grab the shotgun. Those people were really angry. We no longer know anyone's worth or trust those people.
And do your colleagues share your feelings? When you talk about it, there's something there that...
Yes, there will be frustration.
And yet, you, dear sir, you're still not too badly off. You produce milk for heating, you make Comté cheese, so...
But they tell us we're polluting the rivers because we produce Comté milk. But we have the strictest standards among cheeses. Is there a problem or what? And then maybe today too, it's people, they're jealous of us because they see us with our nice tractors. Nobody wants this job now because we're too disgusted to keep doing it. My son started 4 or 5 years ago, but today I'd say he wouldn't. And we wouldn't have done what we did. We wouldn't have invested the way we did. Oh, no.
And you wouldn't advise your grandchildren to do this job?
We have a great job in that sense because we are united. I mean, no. Today, I'm too disgusted to encourage a kid to take this job. We've still been called quite a few names. We're polluters, we're dirty, we're murderers. Because I remember with mad cow disease, it was already a big scandal. Mad cow disease, mad cow disease was still something that affected us. Also, meat and bone meal has been used since after the war. We knew that if we didn't cook this flour enough, we were taking risks. And they took the risk because they were saving energy and the flour was more profitable for the animals. But today, who suffers? It's always the farmer. We couldn't sell our animals for meat, and then came the feed costs. I don't know if we've really solved the problem, we've just worked around it.
Industrialists seek more profit, take risks, and you always end up paying.
It's always like that. We're getting tired of it. Sometimes we act like sorcerers' apprentices with some things.
And do you go to the farmers' protests, for example?
No, it impacts me too much. It would be good to go help them, but besides that, we're all a bit tied up on our farms with our work, just taking care of the animals. We work over 8 hours daily, aware there's still more to do. It's hard to free up time, so when my boy can go, I send him, but it's hard for all of us to go together. Someone must always be on the farm. And then what really disgusts me is that the riot police welcomed the farmers in Nantes with helicopters. Drug traffickers get less than that. You'd think we were criminals, right?
While you're feeding France?
We're feeding France, yes. One morning I thought people will have nothing left to eat, and that's what happened. Because apparently they say there are still too many animals, too many farmers. So if there are too many farmers, the farmers have to disappear. Whereas without doing that, without doing what they're going to do to us, we've noticed many people in our area have stopped having cows or are phasing them out. They can't find staff, people today.
What do you think about it, guys?
About what? What do you want to know?
About the state of France?
The state of France? We're in it. Global debt is, I believe, $346 billion. Given how debt is managed in France, one day it's going to blow up in our faces. And we don't have politicians who are up to the task. We have politicians who are clearly working against us. And me. Tomorrow I hope there are still farmers to feed us, because without them, what will we eat? Rocks? Well, Macron and his millions aren't going to support us. He keeps them for himself, right?
So right now, we're literally destroying our food sovereignty.
Not just food sovereignty, industrial sovereignty matters too. Industry state is intentional, nothing remains. They're all going bankrupt. You see an automotive industry.
It's devastated. You look at the administration, it's devastated. Look at the health services today. You see, today, agriculture was one of the last pillars of the French state. It's over. There's nothing left. We have nothing left in France. And then, the day when all they have left are trees and rocks to suck on, well, they'll come begging for us to give them something to eat, and then we'll send them away. Getting hurt isn't a big deal.
And where are we going like this? Where are we going?
Oh, I don't know. We're going to pray for a peaceful solution, but if we have to get a little angry, we've already cut off heads in 1792, 1793. We still have 2 working guillotines in France. There's one at the Conciergerie Museum, the Museum of the Revolution, and then another one. It's the French state that keeps it. Maybe to cut off my head, but you can cut off whoever you want with it.
So are you really, really angry right now?
Don't get angry. You lose control when you do. Look at our politicians. We're very clear-headed. If we have to step up and protest, we'll do it in a very clear-headed way.
So you understand your colleagues who go and block the roads, etc.
I was part of it. Oh, yes, at Pouilly I was there, thanks to Pouilly Français. With the men, I was there.
And the breeders, how far are they willing to go?
You know, when you have nothing left to lose, no matter how nice you are, how well you know each other, when you have nothing left to lose, you never know what people can do. The guy who snaps, you just have to look at the news stories. One time there was a guy in a village, he lost it, grabbed a rifle, he was on the town council, and he shot the whole council. Today there are farmers who are hunters. I oppose violence, but it seems it's becoming the only thing people pay attention to now. Unfortunately, if the state goes too far, there will be people who cross the red line. It's unfortunate. One for the guy's family, for the one who's going to be killed on the other side, because there are some who have nothing left to lose. I won't leave alone. There are some who say it, and it's understandable.
Do you understand that?
Yes, anyway, why? When they come to do DDT inspections, people, they come. So sometimes it's in complicated financial situations. The guys, they show up like cowboys. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know the guy's story. Maybe he already has family problems. Add another layer and the guy loses it. 2 or 3 years ago, 2 or 3 checks were done at his place. He says, but
Because you're at the limit? Actually, the pressure is too high.
that's it. It's always there. For me, there's a moral exhaustion in the profession. It's not just breeders. Today, all fields are affected. Even when we talk with colleagues, there's a moral exhaustion. There is.
Something that really upsets people on social media is seeing these images of police officers, riot police and gendarmes with tanks, with truly massive resources deployed to counter the farmers' protests. The resources being deployed for this are incredible.
Yes, but what you need to know is that behind all this, well, we were talking about it earlier, with common agricultural policy subsidies, if you refuse to call your herd, they threaten not to pay your subsidies. The common agricultural policy subsidies are just blackmail. Behind it, we live in a world of fear, so the people in the offices are afraid of losing their jobs. So they carry out plans that have 15 centimeters of dust and are more than 30 years old just to justify their place in the offices. And then behind that, the people who chose to be police officers carry out the orders from above. Sooner or later, everyone must examine their conscience. Have you ever seen these forces deployed in neighborhoods for drug trafficking? No, never.
But on the contrary, yes.
No, but because the farmers, they're easy targets, you can hit them a few times. Well, they'll take it and that's it. Tomorrow, they've got work to do on their farm, they'll go back to work at home, and then they won't come bother us, that's all. Go to a housing project today and you'll find people armed with AKs. To me, those housing projects are lawless zones with drug trafficking. Yeah, so I watched a video you made the other day and no, but it's just nonsense. You wonder if you're still in France, you know? There are places like that.
Do you feel that the French people support you or not? You are not enough? Or
there comes a time, the news, me, I turn it off because, you know, you have to know how to protect yourself too.
yes, it's true.
You're good, you know? There are people who come to the slaughter sites to give support. That's just people. Like I said earlier, no matter how much we talk or protest, it doesn't change. Immediately we face armored vehicles and an unyielding wall that won't listen. So sometimes they receive delegations. Yes, they give you a little pat on the back, then off you go, move along, there's nothing to see, that's it.
You don't think public support is strong enough? Because the problem is every French person has their own, that's kind of it.
But I understand.
Is that in every sector, it's a mess. So it's true that there's a difficulty in having solidarity between the different sectors.
Someone once said, here's the politician, he doesn't solve problems, he keeps them going. No, but it's been 40 to 50 years now that we haven't tackled the problems at their root, we haven't solved them. So this time, it's a mess everywhere, in every area.
One time it's the nurses, another time it's the police officers.
No, not another time, but it's the same. We can handle the nurses when they protest by greeting them with water cannons.
Yeah.
No, but you're basically spitting in the faces of those who will take care of you. That's it, of course. And they weren't asking for the moon back then, were they?
There should be a broad movement, not just one sector. Because in France, the problem we have is that often it's just one sector that wakes up, so the nurses over there have their protest, then there's another sector and so on.
And that's called divide and conquer. That's exactly what the French government does. Divide and conquer. If we unite, but we don't even need that many to unite. You put firefighters who got beaten up by the riot police, farmers who got beaten up by the riot police, doctors who got beaten up by the riot police. Come on, 3 groups uniting, how many millions of people is that? I don't know, I don't have the numbers, but how many millions of people is that? And just that alone could destabilize the resistance in France during World War II. How many was it? Originally, in 40, 10,000 or 20,000 people made up less than 1% of the population. Then it increased. Then things changed once we passed a certain percentage of the population and could make things happen. We just need to cross that threshold. But is it 100,000, 200,000 or 300,000 people? Tractors won't be blocking roads. We must use what our ancestors, the tacticians, taught us, since politicians are useless to us. Politicians are ruled by money, and from the moment they find something in it for themselves, they won't look any further. It's them, their own little selves, and that's it.
What did your parents do?
We're third-generation farmers.
So your son, he's the fourth.
My son, that makes the fourth.
So your grandparents were farmers on this farm?
No, I was near Arbois. We returned to take over a farm in Odol when I settled down.
For you, did this job feel natural or did you consider other options?
I originally wanted to be a veterinarian because I've always loved animals and wanted to work with them. Well, it was about school. I was never very good at school, so I like this job as a farmer, you know. I've always liked animals in that way, and that's it. It's easier to handle animals than to handle people.
And tell me, dear sir, how do you see France heading in the wrong direction?
I feel like they're preparing a revolution. They're preparing something. It's going to blow up. The system can't last because they're making life hard for workers. There are no other words. If you want to do something, if you want to expand a building, there are regulations, there are a lot of requirements. You immediately have the environmentalists on your back because as soon as you remove a tree, you're not allowed.
So France, no, things aren't working right, are they?
No, things aren't working. We're in trouble, and we no longer represent anything. Seeing this reminds me of my days as a young farmer. We were the top exporter to other countries, and now where are we? We're at the back of the train now. Today we don't do anything anymore. We don't export anymore. No, we import. We do the opposite. We bring you chickens. We bring you meat from Argentina, and that's it. Well, I think people will always eat, but not as well. That's all. That's what I had to say.
How old are you, dear sir?
64 years old.
64? Do you still have time ahead of you?
Time, but I wish I had a little more because I'd really like to retire. And, well, we can't find anyone to replace me, you know. That clearly indicates an issue in agriculture. There you go. I think I've told you quite a bit, but I'm really disheartened by my job. I didn't think I'd reach the end of my career and end up at this point. And end up down here. I just say courage to the farmers. And who hold on, who resist. We have to resist. We have to resist these idiots who govern us.
How does it work when a herd is cold? The vet handles it, right?
We did training with plant-based products. They get the same results. And it's amazing. It even works better than phytopharmaceutical products.
You get paid twice as much as a year ago.
The meat comes soon after. Their voices matter.
We're going to make sure that it is